I don't know if you watched Landman, but in season two,
Yeah.
there's a scene where where Billy Bob Thornton is telling his son, he's like, hey, however you treat your son, that is exactly how he's going to treat his son. And
Mhm.
if it's bad, it's really, really hard cycle to break. He's like, so be
Yeah.
very careful how you interact and how you treat. And he says that because he basically ran away from being a father because he didn't want to carry those things into his son's life, essentially.
Dude, I feel that, dude. I know you got more, but just to reflect on that, like my dad could like turn off the emotions really quick, for me. And there was this like he would talk about doing it with other people who had wronged him. And then so I grew up with this like, man, I've wronged my dad because he just like click turned it off on me. And I can find that I'm doing that with my son where I'm like, okay, I don't care anymore. And then I'll just like leave. And that sucks, dude. That's like I mean, you just gotta call that shit out. Like that's not good. Like, so last argument my wife and I had, I was like, look, like she and I were both extroverted, we're both pretty dominant people. Her and I engaging each other, like when we're in an argument and fighting, it doesn't work because we just interrupt each other and all that, and it just is bad. So like it is good for me to withdraw, but I have to like to control my volatility. I can feel when it gets to a certain point, and I call it the trap door, and I just institute the trap door and I say, I need to get out of here. But I have to, the additional thing that I learned from this past argument was I need to get out of here for 3 minutes, and then I'll actually come in this room in this office and I'll like pray. And um I've done that a few times. More times I have just come in here and started going back to work and checking my emails and working because I feel valuable there.
Mhm.
But yeah, sometimes I will come in and pray and figure it out, and then I'll be able to go back out there and be like, okay, now that things are cool and I'm cool, we can try to do this. So that's been something that like has been a repurposing of the let me turn off my emotions and leave the situation. Um, but like repurposing it for good rather than like let me just turn off my emotions and leave the situation because I can't handle it or because I say I don't care anymore or whatever.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and we're like in the broader context of us like trying to learn how to be better parents and like creating as a system to do that. All of these tactics, they've been talked about, documented, they exist, right?
yeah,
And like when you withdraw, that's a good countermeasure to stop like immediate, whatever, more volatility. But you have to then come back with the repair aspect of that. And
exactly.
without the repair, your withdrawal is detrimental, right? It
Right.
doesn't help anything get any better, and maybe it makes it
I
worse.
didn't
Maybe
know that.
I don't know, but yeah,
That's
I
dope. I didn't know that. Yeah, I've done that before where I haven't come back with the repair and I'm just like, all right, well, let's try to see if we can forget about it. My wife's like, hell no, dude, we're not doing that. Right.
doesn't
So
have to be
that's
immediate.
cool. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be immediate, but like think about it. It's like an open-ended conversation that never gets resolved, and
Right.
you have enough of those, like you don't know what to do with it, especially your kid.
Right.
Process anything. I just got pissed and left the room, and I don't. Is that my fault? Like you said, you just repeated that back to me like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Do
think
you,
it's
what were some other things that came to mind for you? Because you had said like one thing, and then that came to mind. What were some other things that came to mind for
the
you?
other thing was like when you're talking about in terms of how long it takes to see an effect, right, in something.
Hmm.
And I'm going to experiment with this with alcohol this year because I'm not going to drink for a year. I'm just going to see what happens.
Let's go. All right.
Never done it. The longest I've done is dry January. I said, okay, let's just do a year. I've got a couple family members that aren't drinking anymore, and they seem to be doing just fine. And I think yeah, you go 2 weeks or a month, you're not going to see much, right? You diet for a month,
Yeah.
you're not going to see much. But maybe after 6 months, maybe after a year, then you can really start to see like how it is going to affect you. Maybe it doesn't at all, or maybe it does.
Hmm.
But I think at our age, like you've got to have more extended time dedication to
Yeah.
letting something play out. And I don't know that many people do that, and for whatever they're doing, like it's always these quick things.
Yeah. I definitely see like there's this like I don't know what the phenomenon is, but like I saw something on Instagram and it was like experts say that 93% of people who do this, achieve this, or kids, what they're really doing is this, but there's no source cited. It's just like a catchy post. And it annoys me because it's like this it's kind of like a gimmick, I guess, is sort of the thought there is like there's this gimmick, there's this short-term thing that pops up that's just like, okay, like I'm gonna upend a stable parenting style or something that I've maybe negotiated and agreed on
Yeah.
with my wife because of this. Like I'm susceptible to it. My wife's susceptible to it. I mean, what I'm working on here is like I wrote out like our vision, mission, values, and of our family and like daily stuff that I want to do every day. And it's like, I'm a Christian, so it's, like pray, praise God, pray blessings over the family, like control your eyes, your heart, your voice, your hands like a weapon of a skilled warrior, but like I'm trying to remind myself of this stuff. And I don't read it every day, but like I do, um, it's there and it's building. And I can see myself like this past 2 weeks ago, my wife got really, really sick. And I had to get out of work and reorganize everything and be with my son, take care of her and all that. And no big deal. That's going to happen 100 more times in our life. But dude, I felt so engaged and I felt like I had like the right heart and the right attitude about it because I wasn't like pissed off that I had to miss work. I was just like, no, this is like I'm living my purpose right now. This is it. So there was that was different than that was really different than like how things have been in the past, where I was just kind of like, well, I'm the primary breadwinner and like I've got to work because if I don't work, like you don't afford diapers or whatever. And it's just like crappy attitude. And I do feel like my heart's been changing, but just as you said, like it's taken a lot of time. It's taken like a really concentrated effort over a long period of time. Same with like working out, man. It's like I feel like my body, like upper body, my legs have changed because I've been really focused on, not focused rather, but like consistent. So I hear you with the consistency thing. Not drinking for a year. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't missed it in the whatever 30 days I've been doing it. I mean, I don't know. Makes the weekends slightly less fun, I suppose. But again, it's not, then I don't have the kids are driving me insane. I think I'm just gonna have a couple drinks and maybe that'll cure it. Like it's gonna force me to be like, okay, why are they actually driving me crazy? Is there some
yeah.
there's something that I can do otherwise to like help that? So I don't know. It'll be an experiment. There's not too much to lose. Plus, I need the calorie deficit. So,
I
but
feel you, man. Yeah, the calorie deficit's always the hardest thing. So I'm curious, like, what drives you crazy about the kids?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably more internally. Like I am like to think I'm a very clean person. I don't like messes. So when they're
Mm,
walking around dripping strawberry juice all over the tile or dumping their Fruit Loops all over the floor, that kind of stuff, like throwing pasta sauce against the wall. I I just like something deep inside me just gets real
yeah,
frustrated.
it's disgust sensitivity, bro. I'm like that too. I'm
Yeah.
definitely like that. Like I had to, because our son's potty training right now, and he'll pee okay. It's totally, he's like got that. He kind of throws an attitude, just I think more based on age rather than like a block, psychologically. But like, man, he does not want to poop at all, and it's like I would gag when he would do it, like when I would have to change his diaper and stuff, I'd always gag. And now I'm wondering, like, I won't tell my wife this, but like, I'm wondering, like, did I contribute to that? Like, because I'm like kind of disgust sensitive myself. Like, if I smell poop, I'll involuntarily gag. Same with like vomit and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I feel you on that. Like I am constantly if it's like if I'm in charge of watching him, like I'm the primary or something like that, I'm cleaning up after him always because I just like a cleaner space than my wife. And when we take we've taken personality assessments and like I'm always higher than her on conscientiousness or on prudence and um she's like, I don't care. You're gonna have to clean it later anyway. Like, yeah, whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like the other weekend they were running around with Fruit Loops and they just like dumped the whole thing like all over the floor, and I'm like, and then like in 5 seconds the dog is eating all of it, and I'm like, oh well, I guess that wasn't that big of a problem after all. Like it's all cleaned up, can't see anything,
yeah,
you know. But like, did I really need to shout really loudly right
yeah, for
before that?
sure,
Like
dude.
the shout is wasted, you know. It's not like a danger thing. It's not, you know, it's like a waste of
I feel you on that.
energy on that, you know. And I want
Yeah,
to have my, if I'm going to do an outburst, like I want it to be for like you're about to run in the street and there's a car, right? You know,
yeah,
like
dude.
not
Yep.
so they respect it. So they like, you know, dad just yells all the time. Like he's always yelling. Like
Right.
I don't want to be
Oh
that.
man. Dude, I feel you on that. Like because I run into that as well. So I had a situation where our son, like, apparently what had happened is he like flung his he my wife was saying no to him about something. He's flung his hand and whacked her in the face. And I didn't know at the time that that was an accident. And my wife responded like, ow, It's a little dramatic, but it's all good. And so I went into immediate like, hey, like if this is hitting behavior, we don't initiate force. Like that's not what we do in this family. It's a big thing. It's why we don't spank. Like that's why we try to provide choice when it's, age appropriate and whatnot, because they're in an involuntary relationship. There's all deeper stuff that goes into it, but we don't initiate force. Like it's a first principle. And I go up to him and I'm like, "Hey, you don't hit my wife like that. You don't hit people. You're not going to get friends like that." And take him into timeout. We do timeout. We have a special way that we do timeout. Like I'll sit with him and all that. So just to, because that hasn't been covered yet, but it's not like a real leave him by himself type of thing. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like I come back in and my wife's like, I think that was an accident. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? She's like, no, well, he was just turning really quickly and he kind of caught me. And I was like, honey, like just as you said, I didn't have the words at the time. And I was like, I wasted righteous aggression there or like righteous anger there. Like you can't do that. Like that weakens it. You know what I mean? If you gotta like you gotta let me know in the moment. She's like, well, I didn't know. And I'm like, oh, like, So
yeah, man.
anyway, I think there's this kind of funny side plot that I run into with a lot of my dad friends of like the stuff that we think is gonna like kind of get us laid. It's just not. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, like my husband used his daddy voice, and I just love it when he uses the daddy voice and like disciplines our son. And the son responds and goes back in and says, I'm sorry, mommy. What can I do to repay you? And that just is like, oh, tonight it's gonna happen. It's just no way, dude. They're asleep by 9:15. So I'm curious, like, do you get do you like apologize afterwards? Like if you're like in that instance with the Fruit Loops, are you like, hey, I'm sorry for yelling or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. If it's like something that was irrational, you know, me just
Hmm.
being like frustrated or something, usually like not immediately after, later in the day, like before nighttime or sometimes before bedtime, I'm like, hey man, remember when daddy like shouted about the Fruit Loops? Like, I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that, you know, like that, you know, I just got frustrated, shouldn't do that, you know, we didn't really do anything wrong, but we just want to try and keep like a clean house, blah, blah, whatever.
I
And
feel you.
and then he's usually like, yeah, I don't like when you do that, or like, yeah, okay, and you know, it's like, but those kids, dude, they remember that stuff, you know, and
Hmm.
they'll like he was having a hard time one day, and he's like, I don't, you're not my friend anymore because you yell or something like that, and I'm like, am I really like that? Am I yelling that
Yeah,
much? Like, I don't think I am, and you know, but those one or two moments, they can really like change their perception on stuff. So
for sure. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Like I've accepted that like if there's gonna be a bad guy, like I think the dad has to kind of be the bad guy. Um, like the wife is the natural, like the mom's the natural comforter. Um, you know, I guess naturally, but like I've accepted that, but then there's times where I'm like, man, I think I went overboard there and like he's mad at me. Like in deep discipline moments, when I'm like I think I'm following my instinct and I end up being like I come on too strong. Um, that gets rough because you can tell like my son's a little bit behind your son. He just turned 3, and yours is like 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll get he's not quite like as salient like that. And we keep him in a closet a lot, so he's because he's homeschooled and no, I'm kidding, but no, he's not around as many kids just because he's not going to
Yeah.
daycare.
Yeah.
Right. And so I imagine that stuff's going to come in general. But yeah, I can tell when he's upset with me. It's crushing. It's definitely crushing.